7,
8,
9.
10.
Yizzo!
Hey, Queen, how are you?
Oh, hello. How are you?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well in this evening. I am.
I love that for you. Congratulations. What's
Thank you.
crack-a-lackin'?
I realized that I am going to start being more intentional and creating a lot more alone time by myself. I find when I don't have work to do, if JoJo's with her dad, I will hang out with friends. I'll hang out with my partner. Like, I'll find a way to socialize in a way.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not going to do that anymore. I'm going to work on messing with myself really heavily. And I'm going to create more dates to be by myself. And I'm going to go to a concert in Philly as well by myself that I'm very excited about. And I think I'm going to go to dinner first and then the concert.
Oh, where are you going to go take yourself to eat, Queen?
I don't know. To think about that. And I want to try to make this a habit. I feel like I don't have, in my review of 2022, I don't have enough time for review. It's always forward. I don't have enough time to, what just happened? What am I doing? How am I doing it? Is this even working anymore? So I want to create more moments where I can just sit and create new processes of review for myself and my relationships and tap in just a little bit more. Yeah. And I'm really excited about it. And I felt guilty that I wanted to do that or resistant to that because it means that some other part, I don't have a lot of free time. So the free time that I have, I'm also not offering it to other people socially. And I've been feeling guilty about that. But what did she say? In order to multiply, you got, what Laura Hill say? In order to, something with math. It's a math problem, but you got to go in. In order to multiply, you got to go in. So that's what I think I'm going to do.
What'd she say that on? What song was that?
It's a biblical term. You know, Lauren got real heavy into the Jesus and the Bible. In order to succeed, I must succeed. In order to defeat.
All right. Girl, she was rapping or she was singing?
Who knows?
Okay.
She speaks very quickly, raps very quickly, sings very quickly these days.
It's really getting true. Oh, well, she does that because she doesn't own her masters. And it does. Why didn't anybody buy them for her yet? All these black billionaires, they not shit.
Good question.
Why wouldn't Jay and
she
them
could
have
just
bought her
sing
music back?
normally. So she could just take a breath. So it wasn't a house song.
She singing so goddamn fast.
I hate this song.
I know. I will never forget seeing her in Barbados and being and I didn't know that was what it was going to be. I was so upset. I said, what happened? Why is she singing Zion like that?
All of my heart is Zion. It's in Zion.
It's a wild time. Anywho, I'm trying to find this so I can say that I sent it to you now.
How are you?
I'm good. I'm trying to. Oh, here it is. All right. I'm well. I'm gonna start with the second one that I have there. I've been thinking a lot about epigenetics. Why would you laugh at that? Why? Oh. Anyway, I didn't know that word until Hey Fran Hey sent it to me in a DM. And I was like, what? And I looked it up and said, wow, that's it. And I wrote her back and said, that's it, girl. And she was responding to a post that Earn Your Leisure posted. You know what that is? I love you.
Sounds capitalistic as hell, though. Sounds like it is grind culture.
Very podcast. It's a very successful podcast. And anyway, they posted a clip talking about the middle class and how the middle class is probably the worst thing that could have ever happened for most people. And it perked my ears right away, huh? And basically what they were saying was that the middle class gives you this false sense of safety and security. And so what happens is you get stuck in this pattern of, I go to work, I do a good job, I go do a good job, I get a paycheck, and then I make enough sacrifices. Well, I'll be able to maybe take a vacation and enjoy the fruits of my sacrifices and my labor, which is my job. And then I'm going to rinse and repeat until I die. Maybe I'll get a pension, but that whole thing, right? And so it doesn't often allow, or not allow, but encourage people, and even allow, because the middle class is a trap, but encourage people to see beyond those possibilities for themselves. And so they talked about this, what's it called? This experiment where these scientists had these flies in a jar, and you may have heard of that. And the flies are flying around in circles. They banging their head on the top of the jar. And then they doing it again, bang their head on the top of the jar until they slowly learn, do not go higher than that, higher than X, because you're going to hit your head on the jar. After a while, the scientists, as a part of the experiment, they take the jar off. They take the lid off the jar. Flies are flying around, and they're waiting for the fly to fly out the jar, and it never does it. It never goes past where that lid was for them. It learned that there is a glass ceiling that they can't get past. And so then they even went on to talk about how that they actually pass that on to their children in certain situations, where then the baby flies will do the same thing and they'll never fly past it. And so that's when Fran wrote Epigenetics. And so I've been thinking a lot about that, and it's been fucking my head up. And after I watched that clip, I felt choked up, like really choked up. And I think a part of me was caught up in, wow, I know that what that sense of security is. I talked last week about I almost gave it up, and then was like, oh wait, what if I get sick? I need benefits. What if this happen? And maybe they're going to change things. But also, I have people in my life like a Mandy, like a Fran, like a Jade, who have all been like, I quit. I'm out. I'm not playing your game. I see more for myself. That lid is no longer on this jar, or I banged it off, and I'm going to create a different life. And so I was down on myself because I was asking myself, why don't you see that for yourself? Why don't you have that courage? Everyone around you is telling you how magnificent you are, how talented you are, how you could do it in a heartbeat. And then I had to ask myself, is it that I'm afraid of the success? Is it that I don't think I'm worth it? Which one is it? Or is it something else? And I really, for the first time, which it probably doesn't sound like I'm about to say that I had a win from this discovery, but the win was I knew I was extraordinary. For the first time, I was clear. Like, that ain't it. I know I deserve it. I know that when I show up, even if it's in a podcast space, the conversation automatically gets more intentional, right? I know that when I show up at work, my shit is going to be tight and you're going to know what the hell's going on. My projects are going to come in on budget or below, and on time, and done well. I know all these things. And I think that I have, and what maybe deep dive further was that I had to ask myself, then what is the fear? And I think the fear is around, I don't think anybody else really sees my like intangibles, and knows how to place value on them so that I benefit financially. I think they just know how to exploit them. You know, I think they see like, oh, you're really talented. And then, you know, I'm going to use that, or I'm going to this, or I'm going to that. It's very interesting. And I'm not talking about those three people that I just mentioned, to make it very clear, but I see that more. And I'm like, I haven't figured out how to assign value to that, partly because it feels kind of gross, and demand it, and trust that I will get it because other people will respect it for its value. So I still have work to do, but it's not where I was, where I didn't even see it. That was very long-winded,
No,
but I had to tell my story.
Revelation.
Yeah. And on another note, I have inside information that Jonathan Majors is now single. Just a FYI, I ain't gonna say who had told me.
Girl.
But somebody had told me that their photographer who did a shoot with that man was asking him about his love life, and he was like, "Oh no, I'm single now." And so he has not made this public.
Probably just doing PR stuff too, though.
First of all, she wasn't interviewing him. She was just the photographer. They were having a side conversation.
She just told all his business.
And you heard it here first, exclusive. Matter of fact,
he's going to be at Sundance. He's doing, it's really interesting. He's doing some type of panel with the woman that does NAP ministry. I should know her name, and I apologize. Put some respect on her name. She has a great platform and agenda. But Rasheed's going to Sundance too, and I was like, "Yo, Rasheed, like,
Shanti,
could you maybe give her my number?"
Polyamory on. Yeah.
Rasheed was like, "I would really want that experience for you, but then I'd be mad." Like,
he would block.
Let me just.
There should
give
be
her my number. Just give her my number.
There should be some passes given out.
Would
you give him
passes.
one?
Of course.
Of course.
Absolutely.
You see me along, go after it. You'd be I'd be mad if you didn't.
But I'm like, go give him my number.
He ain't doing that. Rashid said no.
Tell him I said.
I ain't Diddy and you ain't Carisha.
Oh.
Interesting. Well, anyway, something that I've missed quite a bit is listening to our Around the Way Curls listeners. I've really missed voicemails, and I did not think we were going to have one voicemail because we were on the break, and we have a bunch. And so I'm going to play them. I'm very excited, even though it's not coming up on my phone. Oh, here it is. And so this is the first one, and they happen, I believe, to be talking about Sable. This is funny. Oh, play.
Hi, Valentin and Antoinette. This is Bria calling from Pittsburgh. I've been meaning to call you guys during the Christmas holiday because I have these songs to pick, and maybe you can explain. Maybe I'm overreacting. The Christmas song "Santa Baby." The opening line is, "Can you put a sable under the tree?" Like Shanti's Sable Collective, which she explained meant dark pigmentation. When I heard that, it made me want to boycott that song because what are you putting underneath the tree, honey? So if you guys maybe had an idea or wanted to elaborate on it, but yeah, no, we're not putting no sables in no white woman. Try them, baby. So happy New Year, and hope to hear you guys. Hear back from you guys. Thank you.
I love her.
She do say that. She says, "Santa baby,
that's not what
the
So first of all, that's not the definition of sable. But I think they were using sable also has a second meaning, and it is a weasel with a short tail and a dark brown fur that's native in Japan and Siberia, and it's highly valued for its fur.
It's like a chinchilla.
Right. So I think, and the song originated by Eartha Kitt, who was black. And so I don't think that she was saying, yeah, put a black person under the
I love
some
that.
white woman's tree.
I love that.
But I love the commitment to the community and protecting said community. She was ready to boycott one of the best songs of all time now. So here we go. I say, okay, but to sum that up, Shanti had the people going. All right, here's another one.
Hey y'all, so I'm going to comment on episode 57, the free speech of polyamory. So I want to actively introduce a term to you all called solo poly, which is people who are open to dating or engaging in multiple meaningful relationships without having a primary partner. So I'm solo poly, and in dynamic, I'm free to have multiple partners completely independent of each other. They may know about each other, but don't know each other. So y'all remember the remake of She's Gotta Have It? Kind of like that before she introduced everybody. This is what I would accurately describe as Diddy's harem. The typical depiction of polyamory is something like supervised, but there's many variations. Now, I think Carisha and some of the other aspects of main character syndrome, I do think jealousy is play. Plus, Carisha still feels the need to go toe-to-toe with everyone on Twitter instead of taking the initiative out and just never addressing anything. Because like Chauncey said, we don't really know what we're telling these other women, and we don't know what their agreement is. But also, it's that, like you said, if this were a sister-wives type of situation where they all had a relationship with Diddy and one with each other, yes, very messy. Anyways, love y'all. Always tuned in. Until next time.
Okay. So she said that it's called solo poly, which is when people are open to dating or engaging in multiple meaningful relationships without having a main partner, private partner. I'm here for it.
We gotta run this back.
You gotta run what back?
We had a Christina Jackson on.
Yeah.
She talked about
polyamory.
Yeah, we gotta run this back.
I think it would be evolved. Yeah, fruitful to maybe have her on again. I don't know. I mean, I actually know someone who is in a poly relationship and is not even his lady, who is his main partner. He does have a main partner. They don't engage with each other sexually at all. But outside of that, they do. But they are very much committed to one another and very happy in that relationship. So I think it's just another testament.
Yes.
It's another testament, one, that sex is not the entire relationship, and that two, these relationships do not have to look the way we think they do to be happy, healthy, and functioning. So interesting stuff. All right, next up.
Hi, ladies. I was calling in because this is not to provide an episode. I'm sorry, I don't have one, but I did want to comment on the Trevor Noah commentary on Black women, and it was specifically what Shanti was saying, that how Trevor loves Black women for the things they do, but they don't make your dick hard. And I think that's a place to look at or examine, because I think if we're placing the worth of our influence on men or even Black men on the things we can do for them, then we have to examine, of course, they're not really looking for a mom or a workhorse. They want someone that they love. And so I think it really comes down to examining the worthiness you feel as a person. Like, in other words, I have more to offer regardless. I don't need to provide all this quote-unquote labor. So that is why my man gets hard for me, because he wasn't looking for somebody to provide work. He wanted someone that he could love, talk with, get along with, interact with, and all these other things that we do provide just as beings. And I think it's women, and we tap into who we are as our being versus what we can do in a sense of, this is where my worth is, then I think there will be a lot less of that, oh yeah, she works so hard and I respect her, but yeah, I don't want to fuck her. And it's like, yeah, because he didn't sign up for that. He wanted a companion, and so I think it really takes for us as Black women to examine what we have to offer just on GP as a woman, our essence, our very nature of just being and existing, and that's what we need to be resting in and not coming to the table trying to prove that we're worthy to be around and to be loved. So that's all I just wanted to add. Take care. Love y'all.
Chanti?
I like that. I like it. I like it a lot.
Yeah, I don't disagree. I know that there's a lot of folks that I still feel strongly about what he said and appreciate what he said. That didn't change for me, I do think that two things can exist at once, and that you know, it's interesting. I get that general idea. No, I get the general idea around it, right? But if we're being specific to Trevor Noah, it did bring me into, well, is that true? Does he not date Black women? And so what I found to be interesting is that he did date Black women, but they don't look like phenotypically what we would consider to be Black women. So then it took me to, well, wait, does that mean, like, how are we classifying Black? And what would then, what kind of Black woman would he need to date for us to then believe that he doesn't value Black women as workhorses only? And I get it. I get it, but I just found it interesting that some of these women, you know, one woman is Black and Albanian, one woman is South African, and if she lived in America, we would call her Black. She looks like a mixed lady. And then, yeah, there's some white women too. So it's just interesting. But regardless, I think more of the commentary was also around him saying to listen to us, to this, to that. And that does require us to then educate, yada, 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 yada. And I guess I say us loosely because in some spaces I do feel like because these women don't look a certain kind of Black, they're not included in that group. No, but also those phenotypes do matter because there's a proximity to whiteness and conditioning is very real. So it's very nuanced and very layered. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, it's very nuanced, and then all of it, I don't think any of them, or maybe they do, but the canceling out, the way we want to cancel stuff out, I think my immediate response to Trevor Noah is to have all that he said be canceled out because he doesn't date phenotype, like he doesn't date a black women, mm-hmm. Dark skinned Black women. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I guess that's wrong.
I'm not saying it's wrong.
No, I know it is. I know that you have to be able to carry many things at once. And I think that, I can't wait to talk about this in a further episode, on how painful that is in a particular way. Mm-hmm. And I like how you have to have such maturity and strength in a particular way to be able to hold all of those truths at once. And I think it's easier. I don't know. Again, it's easier for me to be like, yeah, but, and dismiss everything that he said because I can't necessarily hold all of that at the same time. And that's a reality for a lot of people. I don't know.
And
it's just something very powerful.
What you saying could be hella true.
It could be true. It could be true. I just think there's something powerful, or there's something around Barack and Michelle Obama's relationship, on him being with Michelle Obama and how she looks, that gives him credibility in a way I don't know he would have received if he were with someone that looked like you or somebody that would look like me. I don't know.
It's just
that's kind of fucked up, but it means something. It means something. These symbols, these decisions that we make, the words that we use, it all means a lot and means nothing at the same time. And the fact that those two things you have to carry is why we're here, y'all. But yeah, I love that. Thank you for that comment. That was great.
Okay, next up. Oh no, did I just accidentally delete it? Why don't you take this out? Help us. Okay.
Hi guys. This is my first time calling. I don't usually do stuff like this. I just listened to the episode when you guys talked about Meghan Markle, and I'm very upset. It's the tone for me. Meghan Markle, she really suffers with denial. She says, I was never treated like a black girl. As if as if she's not black. Her mom has brown skin and she has locks, but it took for her to get to London to know that she was black. It just really upset me, and I had to call because I just want to know if we have to identify as people treat us. That's just what I want to know. Love you guys. Bye.
Do we have to identify as how people treat us?
Yeah, instead of like, what she's saying is, Meghan, I think what she's alluding to is that because Meghan was like, I was never treated like a black girl, that she never identified as black. Even though, what you're shaking your head. I don't know what you mean.
Yeah. I believe her.
You believe?
I believe her.
Who?
I believe Meghan in that.
We're also limiting what being treated as black is. And I can't not mention that. I get it. I know what we mean when we say that, because I intrinsically feel it too, of like, girl, what? How the fuck? You hear that and it's like, don't we all have this common experience? And then you didn't? And that's kind of what I spoke to, is like, that's the frustration that comes up in me, but that's my shit. It's not her experience. And like we said, her mom is black. She is black. Still.
Her mom is
and it's still a black experience.
Who was called the N-word in the car
and said nothing
with her daughter and said nothing.
Never addressed it.
What the fuck? Like, what? You have to understand the level of cognitive dissonance or the ulterior world that they were living in, that would have happened, and you never talked to your daughter about that.
I don't think that she ever felt like she needed to. I think the thing that was, everybody took that clip and they ran with it. The thing that was most concerning for me was that the only black person in Meghan's life was Tyler Perry and Serena Williams. All of her childhood friends, all of her main ace boon coons are white. They're all white.
It's a culture. That's cultural. She's culturally white, regardless. And I think we have to understand. I mean, Yaba wrote the one drop rule, right? Mm-hmm. Like, what makes you black? What makes you black? Culturally, she was raised like a white girl, and she was around white people that she never had those kind of, or she never interpreted whatever microaggressions that did occur, whatever reminders of her difference. She didn't interpret it as her being othered as black. So, yeah, that's just her experience. It was really interesting. I forgot this woman's name, but I was listening to this other woman try to create parallels between Meghan Markle's experience and Megan Thee Stallion's experience, in that within the Black community, we aren't believing these women's experiences. We're dismissing them somehow, both of them. And Meghan, we are upset at Meghan Markle. We can't believe that. Girl, how don't you know that you're black? You're from this place of privilege. Mm-hmm. You are, disassociated. Something's wrong with you. How could you not? We don't believe you. We don't believe your experience. We don't respect it. We don't honor it. Like,
we don't honor it.
We don't hold space for you in the same way that, blatantly we didn't do the same thing for Megan Thee Stallion. And I don't know how parallel those things are in circumstance. One is far more obvious and violent than the other, but it was interesting that she brought that up. And I don't know.
Me neither.
I just know, again, it goes back to my daughter's experience. If I were a different mom, If Jolie had a different family dynamic, friendship dynamic, she was just different. And she grew up and continued her education in the white space that she's in, being as though Jolie's, fairly racially ambiguous in a way, right? Like, I wouldn't be surprised if her conception of who she was weren't different. Like, her not thinking that, her making herself different from Black people. I know I can see how it's very possible. Especially in a woke, now that we're extra woke now, it's like, I can definitely see that being possible. So I believe Megan. It's crazy. I can't necessarily even empathize with it, but I believe her. I can't wrap my head around it, but
yeah. All right, y'all. Thank you so much for calling. There are a couple more that we'll probably play next week. But Shanti, can you take us out for our break, please?
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Oh. Boop. It's funny. There were 2 voicemails from people who were talking about the Michelle Obama episode, and they had two very different.
Oh, I'd love to hear them.
Yeah, but it's getting late. I keep looking at the time. So I save them. I just highlighted them and save them for next week. But it's like they heard 2 different episodes. I loved it.
Huh.
It's cool. All right, ready?
Mm-hmm.
And we are back. Y'all, like we said last week, we are giving you a full week of hot topics. And the first one up is George Santos. Crickets. You probably don't even know who the fuck that is, but George Santos, this is our politics as usual portion. He is he is a representative. He is a Republican representative from New York City. State, not city. And he is a liar.
Oh.
He lies.
He the nigga that
told
was
people
lying.
that he was Jewish. He told them
crazy.
he worked in certain places he ain't work at.
So all my life I had to fight.
They just went through his entire resume and it was a lie. The whole thing is a lie. So I need to research more into all of these lies because I really want to know all the things, because we really need to break down the psyche of someone who does this. And if you look at him, he's insane. You can see it, that he's lost his mind. He also, when he voted for Kevin McCarthy, did the white power symbol when he voted. You didn't see that?
No.
Oh, yeah. His pictures, the picture went on.
You sure it wasn't the black power symbol that he was
No, it wasn't this.
It might have been the black power.
It was like some kind of 3-finger thing.
He's
that's supposed to signal white power. So,
gang signs, George.
Listen, some Republicans are calling for him to step down because they're just like, all right, this is really making us look bad. But most of them are not. Most of them are like, do. And they ignored him during the voting for House Speaker. They just didn't sit with him. He was sitting by himself. I said, this is so ghetto. But I'm going to do my research and come back with more information because we really need to break this down. Chauncey, you're going to pass. He convinced people. He convinced people he was Jewish.
You're a liar, a cheater, a deceiver.
He had mad people donating to his.
George crazy. George like that black kid that kept opening up the clinic.
The doctor? He just went back. He just went back for fraud.
Let this boy help. He's not well. And he's gifted as well.
Brilliant. Right.
He's gifted, and we need to put incentivize him differently.
What's sad, though, didn't he pose as a gynecologist? So women were going to him.
I feel like he was like a cardiologist. He was like a neuroscientist.
No, he couldn't have been a cardiologist.
This nigga opened a whole clinic, my nigga. A whole clinic. He was
like, "Well, we wish. What have we done with ourselves?"
He's like, the hip bone is connected to the
thigh bone.
Thigh bone. And here is an aspirin and a Flintstone vitamin. That'll be $70,000.
Get out of here.
You can see him off.
Yo.
Look at the flame. I gotta refer you to Dr. Sebi. Hold on, I'll write a script. Let me call.
Let me call him. Be why he did. Anyway,
I need a referral from Dr. Umar. Hold on,
Dr. Umar. First of all, real fast. This is an aside, but did you see Dr. Umar's his? You know how you're like, we need to have strategy around what we're posting. We need to have strategy.
What he say? Don't put some respect on his name. What did he say?
Dr. Umar is promoting something, either some talk or something that he's doing. And he found a video of a white woman on a horse. I sent it to you. White woman on a horse with her pants super low where her butt is jiggling. And it's a black man looking at it, and then all of a sudden Dr. Umar comes up behind him and grabs him, and then the guy has a dashiki on it, and Dr. Umar is like, join me at da-da-da.
Listen,
he's like
brilliant.
The king. He's adapted the King Kong of consciousness ever since Charlemagne said it. He's like branding himself as
I
that.
love it. Watch him
Dr.
fucking
Umar.
He about to come out with a podcast. Hey, do he have a podcast?
There is no way in hell Dr. Umar is not sitting on somebody's microphone and talking his shit.
I know he's on podcast.
We need to read it or listen to it. See.
Well, he is opening his school to all you naysayers. It is opening. So
right.
The donations were budgeted out.
That school is like Sheba Sheree. Don't play with me. Shit ain't never pop it up. Anyway.
No laughing matter, and something that I'm really interested about how we can organize, strategize behind. A bill called the Equal Act that would have impacted racial disparity in cocaine crimes in the U.S. died in the Senate. As most people know, hopefully, the convictions for crack cocaine versus powdered... Oh, why would you do that? Why would you do that?
Wait, I'm so sorry. You went out of order, so I was taking the other one from the top.
It's all right.
I know, but we're going to give this to Monty, and he's going to follow along instead of us writing those notes. So that's why I was just changing it. I apologize.
But
I didn't realize it would shoot up. Go ahead, girl. I'm really sorry.
I don't know where it is.
Hey, you just... What do you mean you don't know where it is? It's right on. It's a Google Doc.
Just a mid-sentence and you went up. Okay, there we go.
I apologize. Right. Go ahead.
Do you want to put the time in there?
No, I think that was actually authentic. It shows our friendship and how we work together and problem solve. That's fine, Monty.
For those of you who don't know, in the U.S., the convictions for crack cocaine versus the powdered form of cocaine are not equal. The sentencing greatly affects Black men more than their counterparts with higher and longer sentences for the same pharmaceutical substance, basically. And so a lot of people have been rallying to get this bill passed. A lot of former convicts have been showing up and petitioning for this. I don't know the political word for that. But it did not pass. And many folks, they just can't blame it on Republicans. They say the passing of the bill was a failing of both the Democrats and the Republicans. Kevin King, this is a reporter from NPR, says both parties bear some blame for the bill's demise. Republican opponents in the Senate refused to fast track the legislation. This goes back to what we, I guess, talked about before in the earlier episode with this bill. They didn't want to fast track it, but Democrats controlled the House and it was not passed. And so
Kevin King, by the way, is a congressional staffer on the Republican Party. Go ahead.
Okay. A lot of people, a lot of families, we were really hoping that this would pass because it would work retroactively and almost like 8,000, up to 8,000 folks would be freed had this passed, but now they're still serving these long convictions. And Attorney General Merrick Garland instructed prosecutors to charge crack and powder cocaine crimes the same way moving forward starting this month. But again, the policy doesn't apply to people already in prison, and it's not like safeguarded. It could change at any time. So I feel like this makes me really, really sad. This is, if we want to be all hoteppy, the impact of this is very costly on our community. I feel like we're always talking about as women, not having even enough partners, if you're heterosexual looking for partners, it just makes the pool so much smaller. And not in terms of just like finding a mate, but the amount of children whose fathers are then incarcerated, their brothers, their sons. It's just, if this were changed, I'm really curious as to how that could impact the community. Of course, if they're convicted, you still have to serve time. And I don't know if that is a good thing, or the fact that we are going to convict powdered cocaine the same crazy sentences that we do crack cocaine. I don't know if that's what they're trying to change, if they're trying to make the sentences shorter for crack cocaine, similar to the powder, or they're trying to make the powder cocaines longer. But a lot of the Republicans are saying, oh, especially with the war on drugs in Mexico, we don't want to show any leniency. Although, again, the people the most impacted by this are not Mexicans. They're not people crossing the border. These are people in our urban communities. So I was curious with you, Internet, to help me understand the steps that could possibly be taken with something that feels so specific, that something that feels so like we can definitely direct our energy around bringing this up again. What can people do personally to demand that this be passed? Like, this feels like something I'm trying to understand, like, who would I need to talk to? I'm trying to say, like, who would I need to talk to?
You need to talk to your state senator because it died on the Senate floor.
Okay. Well, so I think this is something that everybody
passed in the House. I'm trying to understand why. I'm literally skimming an article right now. I didn't know this. And so do you know why it failed on the Senate floor?
Well, it says that the Republicans opposed it. Their argument was that they didn't want to fast track it. And they have, Republicans, it's always this war on drugs. I don't know why the Democrats, what the fuck they did. I don't know how they
it says Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer, who is Democratic, a co-sponsor of the legislation, so he's behind it, promised
Booker
to make
was behind it.
Yes, promised to make the Equal Act a top priority after failing to give the bill a floor vote. So they didn't even vote on it prior to the midterm elections. Chuck Schumer and congressional leaders attempted to include compromise language agreed to by Senate Judiciary Chairman Dick Durbin, yada, 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 yada. But that was ultimately blocked by the devil himself, Mitch McConnell, despite co-sponsorship of 11 members of his own party and support from law enforcement, civil rights leaders in his home state. Barring a miracle, this means the Equal Act will die in the Senate and thousands of families. Yeah, so it died in the Senate as a result of Mitch McConnell blocking it.
Well, this is something that is important
Call
to
your
me.
senators.
And I feel like if there's a way to kind of magnify this and bring this to people's attention, I think this is really, really important as a Black issue. Speaking of Black issues, child, oh man, Twitter, I don't know nothing about Twitter, but apparently Twitter is ablaze. Twitter is ablaze. The Black women are really, really upset surrounding all this controversy for Mielle Organics natural hair company. Apparently, recently, a white TikToker she had millions of followers. Mm-hmm. She shared the Mielle Rosemary hair growth oil and got all of her followers interested. And so what ended up happening was Black women who normally go and buy this product, it could not be found on their shelves. And so I heard even before this other information that this growing conversation around once white girls take a hold of anything, Black people, the demographic for which that product was intended, is the one that's going to be robbed, and they really need the hair product, yada, 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 was intended for them. And then just today I learned that Mielle Organics sold their company to Procter & Gamble. The founders are maintaining positions as CEO and COO, but basically it's going to be under the Procter and Gamble corporation, which is huge, global, just crazy big. And the reason that they want to do that is to scale up, be able to distribute it, be able to have all of the logistics needed under the umbrella of that financial, up under Procter and Gamble, because, you know, even as big as they were, they're still a small business, and they needed that financing. And also they both walked away probably a lot of fucking money from that, hopefully. And so everybody's mad. A lot of people are upset. There's saying that they sold out, saying that
Can I read some of them?
Short-sighted of the original owners, and they don't have any sense of how to actually create wealth. And again,
can I read some of these things?
Yes, please.
Miele's products actually work, and I'd specify for type 4 hair and she wrote this crazy, and so for white women to white women, and then for them to sell out to Procter and Gamble, we can't have shit in this house. And somebody else says, Miele being acquired by Procter and Gamble is expected, but she said it's to increase availability and that formulas will not change. Okay. So thanks to white women with 3 million followers on TikTok, yada, 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 white women have a whole hair care aisle dedicated to their hair type, and this just wasn't enough, I see. I'm over black sellouts and black capitalists marketing to black people. So they're going in on this. I did not know that they were going to stay on as COO and
they're
CEO.
making promises of being a part of creating resources for other black businesses and helping other black businesses. And again, saying that they're not going to change the formula and, just staying by their brand and just saying that this was just a business move that they...
Yeah, if they're staying on and it's not like they sold their company and they have nothing to do with it anymore. And I think that's what people are responding to. And I think that's what people are thinking is what's happening. If they're staying on so that they can be more readily available to folks.
Well, I think their fear is, and we've all experienced it. I don't know that their fear is unwarranted. Shea Moisture, Carol's daughter, Carol's daughter was very...
They didn't stay on, did they?
I don't know if I think either way, it's something that has happened where these products that gained their initial, they were invested and blew up and were beloved by black women specifically. Like we were the ones that helped you come up off your bootstrap, and this is how you repay us with like these products that don't even help us anymore. These were godsends at one point. It's really hard to have 4C hair, 4B hair, really kinky hair, and then find these products. You give them your money, you feel like you're supporting a black business, and they turn around and like, not you putting silicone in it, not you like putting these terrible products in it. And I don't think I don't think those fears and those worries are misdirected. Or I do think those fears and worries are misdirected. I don't think that there's anything wrong with them. I think those are valid feelings, but I think it's misdirected to put it on the white TikTok influencer, and also to be mad at the business and put this idea of them selling out. I think what you should be mad at is just the way capitalism works. Like, that's capitalism in their that is the American dream. Miele just achieved what every startup company dreams of doing. That's what
you say Apple's, that, but you also then talk about dismantling it, and
I'm just saying, don't be mad that the dog bit you. Like, that's what the dog does.
Yes, but
capitalism
you're also playing
is
with the dog. I'm more shocked that people, again, I keep trying to verify that they're staying on as CO and COO, because I think if they just sold it, yeah, they don't have any control over the company. They don't have control over what happens, and the product surely will go to shit because it will be less expensive to manufacture them and get them out. So I feel like their outrage is misinformed and a little bit ignorant. If this is really like Procter and Gamble are going to get a cut, but we're going to be able to be in more stores, more locations, and have more products and have more outreach for Black business. That seems like a great deal and a great partnership.
Yeah, but when you sell your company, I don't know if you have that.
Well, that's what I'm trying to. I'm trying to. It all depends. You don't know what deal they have. Some people sell their company and they sell it and they're gone. They take the money, they're out. They don't own it anymore. Mm-hmm. You know, like, I don't know if that's really what's happening here. We don't know what their contract says. We don't know if they have to approve, yada, yada, yada. We don't know. They're vowing that certain things won't happen. So let's see. But I think it's interesting how even last week, how we talked about, and especially with you as a businesswoman, we talk about, we were making fun of like Diddy and Carisha, not making fun of them, but discussing them and saying, you know, we don't want to dismantle the thing when it's really time to dismantle the thing. We were even talking about Tory Lanez going to jail and you know, then we're talking about abolitionists and how they felt a way about that. And so do we really want to dismantle jails? Do we really want to do that? So now I come here and I pose a question to you, and not in a gotcha moment way, but I'm really curious to know how you hold those two things at once, like we discussed, as being a businesswoman and having the business model of making more profit than what I'm selling this product at a higher rate. And then if this opportunity came your way, would you take it? It's peak capitalism.
I think it's what your goal is as the owner. I think it's the values, the foundation of what you're trying to do with your business. If your capitalism, the idea of selling something, mm-hmm. a transaction isn't intrinsically evil, right? Uh-huh. But if you're making a product at the expense of exploiting the labor, exploiting the land, and making it never ending, like my growth needs to be never ending. Each year I need to make, and I want to make, and I'm going to make, and I'm considered a failure if I don't make the same or more than I made the year before, then you are intrinsically caught up in an unsustainable capitalist system that is inevitably going to exploit people, is going to inevitably exploit the land, and inevitably you don't necessarily have the customer at your best interest. Your best interest is your profit. Your best interest is your shareholders, if that's the way your business is set up. And that's how, in America, that is the business model that we aspire to. That they did it. That's the business model that most people aspire to.
So you're
people
saying
don't aspire to.
How do you say the company? I'm sorry. How do you say this company?
Miel. They did it. They did what most people.
They did what you're saying that they're.
No, they did. The thing is that you do a startup. You mm-hmm. work really hard. You create your operations and systems in a way that you can manufacture. You get a distinct market that you sell to, and then what they tried to do, what they proved to Procter and Gamble, or what I don't know if Procter and Gamble is pushing towards, we're going to expand this market. I want to be able to give this shit to as many people as possible. White, Black, Puerto Rican, Asian, straight hair, kinky hair. I don't give a fuck. My objective is I want to get it to as many as people as possible indefinitely. I want to take over the whole entire thing. And that's the kind of
Why does joining with Procter and Gamble mean that, though, that they want to take over the whole thing and
maybe it's not what their incentive is, but that's normally what a business. If you can expand your market, why wouldn't you?
Well, would you?
I consider I don't want to be a corporation. I don't want investors. I don't want to have $1 million. I don't want to be a Target. I don't want to be a McDonald's. I don't want a franchise. Mm-hmm. Would I want to have one business in Philly, one business in Atlanta, one business in New York? Sure. That sounds wonderful. But the way my business is set up, that with small makers, I don't expect them to be able to scale up to send their products to 100 million people. I think I'm trying to find a space that is enough. Like, so what is my enough?
I'm genuinely trying to understand. What about like Rayo and Honey? Like, they're now in Target.
But I don't know. That's her thing. That's amazing. That's dope. I don't think just because you're in Target, you intrinsically sold
Okay,
out.
that's what I'm getting at. Okay, good. Okay.
Just because you're in business doesn't immediately mean
I agree.
Like Patagonia, like they have, what is it called? Lush. They have a cooperative where many people can own their business. There's many ways that you can establish your business. And just because you make a lot of money doesn't mean that Lucy's got you.
Yep.
But the fact that they are doing a business thing and they are expanding their market and they sold out so that they can scale up. I guess my question is and they did it as Black owner. Why them being Black, does that change this? Does that change anything? They're going to do
genetics. I'm dead ass.
Why? Why do we think that? Why are we shocked that Black, like, you're still a capitalist? You're still following this certain type of process. Like, they're doing what they're doing. To me, it feels like, wow, you have a really successful business. I hope that they don't. If their formula gets fucked up, if Procter and Gamble cuts the products because of the prices of the ingredients, that's where they fucked up. But I'm not mad that white girls are using rosemary oil. And maybe I'm fucked up. Maybe that's awful.
I think the anger around that was that it was no longer available. It was sold out everywhere. So now the solution is, okay, I'm going to make it readily available. And she still can't win.
I don't know.
Interesting.
That's just the way.
If anyone else has some other ideas around it, I'd love to hear about that, because I always wondered about that with you, but it makes sense, what you're saying, how your business is set up. Moving right along, pop culture. This is petty and probably has no business being on this outline, but I was watching, I was on the internet, I was on the Instagrams, and there is a brilliant little TikTok going around where this woman is breaking down Prince Harry. He got him and Meghan. I think the thing about it is right now that they keep wanting to be out of the spotlight, but they won't take themselves out of the spotlight. And I think it's tricky because they also have to maintain their lifestyle, because they have to afford their security. And yes, they absolutely need security. You obviously didn't watch that little Netflix thing.
Well, I thought you meant security. I thought you meant like the metaphysic of security.
No, like actual security guards and like cameras in their home and systems, and they need that. And that is a very expensive expense. They had to flee to Tyler Perry's house, and he had to put up cameras and stuff for them. So I get it. I do get that aspect of it, but damn, they don't shut up, and they spilling all the beans, child.
He wrote a little book.
He wrote a book.
Writing.
He said he has said that his brother and him came to fisticuffs over Meghan and over them conspiring to put out malicious stories about her with the British tabloids. He also cited Camilla in it and basically said Camilla wasn't shit. His mama knew she wasn't shit and that she was never gonna be shit. And I just thought it was funny, all this work that the royal family has done to try to revive her reputation. And he's just like, boo, nope. Let me put you on the game real quick. He also said that his brother demanded that he shave his beard. I said, that's the most hating shit.
Jealous?
Oh, you jealous that you had to get married looking like that?
Virginity. He talks about killing people in Afghanistan. Harry killed people. He's not well.
I'm worried about him.
And the book is juicy, and the royalty is the ghetto. It sounds like
it's a mess.
The ghetto.
It is absolutely a reality show, but a tragic. I hope, my hope is that the book more so talks about his ability to hold all these things at once and is like a true reflection on his life thus far and how he reckons with it all. I hope that he's citing these things as just as a means to tell the story so that we understand the work that he's doing. I just don't want it to be this tell-all, I'm going to spill all my beans kind of vibe. That would make me sad for him.
Well, that's how the people are marketing it.
Of course, because they're getting tea.
Is like,
but oftentimes then you get the book and the tea was just there because they needed to explain their standing and their story, and so you could really relate or empathize or whatever the case is. We gonna find out. But I'm tired of, listen, Harry, I also saw a tweet that they were like, they had all these fake Terry tweets that they were tweeting. You gotta go on Twitter. And they were like, the best part of the book was when Harry had said that it was when Meghan wrapped her hair up in a bonnet and protected her fresh blowout that he knew he wanted to protect her forever. And I was like, I hate
he wanted to protect her like the satin bonnet that she wears every night.
I can't. I was like, you know what? Y'all get on my nerves. But
that is stupid.
We'll see. We'll see what happens. I need Meghan and Harry to hush for a little bit. And
you know who else needs to hush? Gwen Stefani. Gwen Stefani said that she's Japanese. In an interview with some magazine,
why won't you let her be who she is? Let me look this up.
They said, Gwen, you be appropriating like mug, like you stole the whole Harajuku Japanese style, like you appropriate. And she was like, she like was flippantly like, my God, I'm Japanese and I didn't even know. She's like, really? I am. And she didn't actually go into her ethnic background. I think she said just because her dad, she grew up with like Japanese culture and she loved Japanese culture and she's gone to Japan. That makes her Japanese. And
oh, well, you Indian, girl. Congrats.
I'm Indian.
You are.
I'm Indian. You're African.
Stefani described her father's stories of Japanese street performers cosplaying as Elvis Presley. With colorful hair when she grew older. She traveled to Harajuku. What?
She's losing. Gwen Stefani was a bad bitch. Appropriation and all. Gwen Stefani's style was...
What if she's really Japanese?
I don't think so.
Roxanne Gay tweeted, Gwen Stefani's publicist may be busy today.
She crazy. But she's really... canceling herself out because she really is a style icon and nobody believes it anymore because she's not. Like
she's appropriated the whole style. She ain't come up with that. She just was like,
style
that's cool.
Is appropriation. I see. That's where I'm unpopular opinion. Mm-hmm. The way that Gwen Stefani dressed, I was never mad at her. I was never like. Maybe with the reggae stuff. She did do reggae stuff.
She was reggae for a little while.
She swore she was she swore she was in the Bob Marley. She swore she was like
she was a Rastafari for a while. Yeah.
She did. But even that I wasn't mad.
If I was a rich girl.
When she mixed the red, green, and yellow with the fucking leopard cheetah print, I said, wow, go off, Gwen.
I do not care about Gwen.
I support her. I support Gwen.
You know, she married that country singer, and it gets tricky when you do things like that.
She's happy though.
Shout out to her. She's Japanese.
I got to. I say I'm sorry. I'm sorry in Japanese.
Listen, in other news, I'm not still following, or I never was. I have to be honest. My age is showing. Young Thug, Gunna, all of these things, I want to say the YSL, but I know that's wrong. Whatever the crew they're in, the YSL is closed. I don't know what it is, but Gunna got out. Apparently Gunna didn't, people saying he snitched because he's out of there. Who knows?
Who's Gunna?
But more importantly, a juror skipped out on Young Thug's trial because they already had a trip to DR scheduled. I was like, this is the most Atlanta shit ever. And the judge, instead of holding them in contempt of court, which they absolutely can for not carrying out their civic duty, sentenced her to write a 30-page paper on the importance of jury duty and told her that he is going to run it through systems to check for plagiarism. And it's due, I think, by Monday or something. Girl, I'd be like, send me to jail.
Internet. Shut up.
Send me to jail.
Not the due date.
Girl.
How old is that woman?
Do you know how long a 30-page paper is? Is it double spaced? I would be stressed.
30 pages? I'll just be like, that is so bad to be breaking. I'm giving a history of when.
How would you plot it out? What would you write? Well, that's right, because you got to have a thesis.
First, create my thesis of why it's important, because it's foundational to getting the diversity that is needed to get a just decision. People, the convicts, the.
They're not convicts because they weren't.
They're not convicts. They are the people that are on trial. Child, that's the word I would use too. The people that are on trial depend on the public. Defendants.
Okay.
I would go in and I'll go into the history.
But then, would you cite cases where like the jury? Would you say, and here's an example, like this jury that was diverse. Yeah. 30 pages? You got to go back to when it was founded, why it was founded.
Mm-hmm.
And
the history of it, bring it,
and then tie it
a whole bunch of cases of black, and and then I'll put it into race. It is indeed pivotal for defendants of African American heritage, because throwing that fucking
30 pages.
Kill a Mockingbird and shit.
Wait, what?
I recite To Kill a Mockingbird. I go in.
Listen, I saw that and I said, I love that judge. And it's probably, listen, again.
That woman is 39 years old.
Do we really want to break these systems? We don't want jail. We want to be reformed. We're trying to be abolitionists. This judge seems to be revolutionary. He could have thrown her in jail. Yeah. He could have easily been like, you in contempt of court. Bye. You get locked up. But instead, he said, you need to understand the errors of your ways. DR was not that important. Now, write this paper.
I feel like you would do that as a judge.
I feel like that's
exactly what you would do. That would be what you did as a judge. I'd be like, fine, of $1,500. You'd be like, right.
Because you're a capitalist. I'm actually the true one that's trying to do this work. You'd be like, let me get this city some money.
And I'll send it to
corruption. Shanti's a part of the swamp.
Let me just say something real quick.
Okay, go ahead. Say so. Say it.
I'll bring it up on the next episode. But we are in a place in technology where you can tell an AI computer to write a 30-page paper about this specifically, and it will produce it with little to no errors. Things will be cited. It is happening.
No.
Yes, internet.
No.
It's happening. Mm-hmm. And we're at a place where we can't tell where the AI wrote something and where a human wrote it.
Where you have read that at?
My artsy nerdy boy.
Shanti and her sources.
Like, Shanti, you need this for your captions for Instagram. Y'all need to use this for da-da-da-da-da-da. I was like, Jojo, you need to use this for this paper that this teacher has you. It's getting tricky out here.
Wow. All right. On the next episode of Around the Way Curls, finally, TLC, since we're talking about polyamory so much, because my polyamorous queen, my co-host, who's really, you're not even polyamorous, you're just a polyamorous, what are you? You're just a supporter. TLC has a new show coming out. Oh, I don't have a clip ready. I have stress. They have a new show coming out called Seeking Brother Husbands. Have you seen this at all, Shanti?
I saw the clips of it.
And I thought it was very interesting. I thought it was a fresh take Because most often we're seeing men in relationships with multiple women, and that's just not the case on this show. So I don't have TLC. If anybody wants to email me their password so that I can watch it, I would so appreciate it.
Isn't it just like cable? Do people still have cable?
If it's still no, I think TLC is not included in every cable subscription. I don't know. That ain't the point of this, but I would like to see it. I would like to see how they approach it, and if they're doing like real work with it, and like, you know, trying to break down all of the rules and systems, especially that we have with women. But let's listen up. Please work. Look at it not working. It's embarrassing me.
Polyandry is the practice of one woman having multiple husbands, but those husbands cannot have any other partners. I have 2 husbands who love me.
There's definitely like a double standard. When a female has multiple partners, it's, oh my God, she's such a slut. She sleeps around.
How is the sleeping situation? Not all one room.
No.
I'm on a room, and then she shares a room with him.
Oh.
You know, you were the first man I let my partner, Kim, be with. I was watching my partner fall for another man right before my eyes.
And how you gonna juggle 3 guys like that?
To see me holding hands with somebody else or like kissing someone else, you don't think that would be hard?
That wouldn't be easy.
To do this lifestyle successfully, you have to be willing to go outside of your old comfort zones.
You're okay with her sleeping with other men?
Most of the time.
They assume multiple male partners. It's just about sex. That's definitely not it.
Let me ask you a question. Have you ever been in an orgy?
Things really started to get awkward when I heard some noise in the basement, you know, a little moaning, a little groaning, a little don't.
Just got real. I wish I could be everything that you need, but I can't.
I didn't think I was going to be swapped.
All right, y'all. That was too long. Monty, can you cut like half of that out? But, and I said it wrong. It's polyandry. That's what they're calling it. And I just thought it was very interesting. These men are not allowed to have other partners. She is the only partner, and they don't seem to be partnered with each other either. They just share.
They're not allowed to have other partners.
That was the whole point.
I didn't know. I didn't know that.
Hear that? Yeah, girl.
I didn't know the stipulations for them.
They are not allowed to have other partners. Polyandry. It's not polyamory, but it's related. Thoughts?
Sounds exhausting. In particular.
Does it? I thought to it. I thought, wow, it sounds like that she would have a lot of help. That's what I thought.
A lot of help.
Yeah. If there's 2 men or 3 men or whatever, multiple men, and they're all partnered with you, fulfilling your needs, I'm like,
I wonder if she has to have a lot of sex.
Probably.
Like men have higher sex, and again, I'm going by stereotypes, but shout out to them. Shout out to TLC for showing us the new possibility.
Could you do it?
That's right. No, I don't think I would want to do marriage.
I don't know if they're all.
And
married.
I don't think I would want them. I don't think it would be. They can't see other people.
Your free love.
And I don't know. Yeah, it's the like all in the same house part that I don't think I don't want. You know me. I don't want my other partner
they were all
see.
doing that though.
They weren't all doing that?
No, that was just one group where
I would not want to all be all in the same house. You seeing how I relate to him because that would affect. Yeah, no, let's keep it secret.
See, I love this.
Oh,
surprise! I love this. Out of all the options, I would like one person. I'm being very clear about that. And maybe we open it up in like 20 years, but it's tricky. But this, if I were to enter into any kind of relationship that had multiple people, this feels the safest to me because it always comes down to sex and keeping myself sexually safe. If I'm having sex with 3 people and they're not having sex with anybody else, I trust myself. I'm not going to do anything else. We're all safe. And then I get to have all kinds of different kinds of sex and loving experiences and relationships with beautiful people, men. Really, my tie-up, even in dating multiple people, is always around sex. It's always around my sexual health. And so I just gotta
have a lot of trust, boy. That is a whole trust fall.
And I sure don't. So I'm like, can you just date me at once?
Diddy was definitely having unprotected sex.
Talk about it. So there's no way that all of those women, that their pH is together. It can't be. It really can't. Like, that's not how bodies work. It's just not how bodies work. So I wrapping my head around it.
The same science as that young boy, the young cardiologist.
That is not how bodies work. You never had somebody cheat on you and your vagina reacts and you know it and you're like, you never had that. Well, shout out to you. You was a lucky. Shout out to all the listeners who know who nodding their heads like, they did gave me BV, and it's not a sexually transmitted disease, but it's just when your
pH up,
your pH is off, and you like, what
make me so upset.
And I wonder for young people who don't know that, if you just randomly get BV all of a sudden, 9 times out of 10. And if you haven't changed any of your habits, like you're not staying in very wet workout clothes, sweaty workout clothes, you're cleaning yourself properly, your diet hasn't changed, and you're having sex with somebody that's unprotected, they have had sex with someone else, and they are throwing your pH.
This is God talking.
Sorry.
This is somebody just dropped their bagel. They was eating a bagel and it fell. No. She done spilled her drink. She said, "Oh my God, this nigga was cheating on me."
Yes,
it's God speaking to you.
When she's like, "This might not be what you want to hear." What does that girl say, Kiki? Ooh. I forget. She was always saying that little sentence.
Girl, Kiki Palmer.
Yeah, when she was like this. Like some around the information you don't want to hear. Look, we sound old.
I love Kiki. First of all, I fucking love Kiki. Shout out to her being pregnant as well. That is my boo. I love her. I'm the best for her. All these women have a baby. All these successful women having their little Stedmans on the side. Oprah ran. What is it? Oprah crawled so you could run.
Walk,
shout out to all of you.
That's where this episode. So Oprah crawled so you could run and walk and jog and swim.
Paved the way. So that's my nigga. Mind your business. That's how all these young girls are doing.
That might be the name of the episode. All right, y'all. That's it. We're back 2 episodes into the year. I don't know what we learned from this, but I just want you to know that we will have around the way affirmations coming, because I put Shanti on high alert. I said the people need them, but this is not an episode where we need that. So with that, I think we are out.
Good night, everyone.
All right. What's the name of these episodes so I can send them to old boy por favor? You ain't saying nothing.
Yeah, I think that should be it. Oprah crawled so Kiki could run.
No.
Yes. That's what I vote for.
Really?
Mm-hmm. What did we talk about? I have no idea what we just talked about this whole time. What?
No, you had said something else too.
The royalty is the
you
ghetto.
Said, that's my nigga, so mind your business. I think that could get people clicking.
Ginger nigga. What's his name?
What? Don't say that.
The royalty is the ghetto. Royalty sounds really ghetto.
Oh, we talked about Trevor Noah. Talked a lot about race. I don't want to have a race one. It could be hold 2 things at once.
That's
juggling 2 balls. I don't know.
Juggling 2 balls. No, that's a good one. Juggling multiple men and things.
That feels too long. Juggling. Multiple.
Men and feelings.
Men and feelings.
Ideas.
Multiple. Oh my God, I have to move my car. Men. Fuck. That just ruined my night. I guess that's not too long. All right, and then the first one. What we talk about on that?
White women homegoing. White people. It ain't real. That's you hate it.
We talked about what was the through line? Something about the dismantle. Oh, God,
do we really want to dismantle it?
That's really how we want to come out the gate. They're gonna be like, here they go, and they hotep shit.
Homegoing by a white woman.
No,
that's what I want you to say.
Know what that means.
A white woman reads me to sleep. I think that people will want to listen to it.
A white woman reads me to sleep? Yeah. That's funny. It has nothing to do with the episode.
That's why it's good.
A white woman reads me to sleep. We said some... all right. I don't know if she's white. Can you look and see if she's right?
What is her name?
Let me send it to you. Verify that. Because I'm scared. What if she's not white? She looked white, though. Miss Deming. Listen to her voice. Can you hear her? You can hear her.
Nekia's laugh as she taught him to speak.
Can you hear it?
Repeating a word in French and English until Quay could hear in one language and answer in the other.
You have to give him a clip of that, Antoinette, to put in there. You have to. Yes. You have to.
She be killing it, yo. I'd be like, and I know exactly what's going on in the story.
You have to.
Holding his small fat fist in hers as they traced lines and lines and lines together. How smart you are, she exclaimed when Quay learned to spell his name without...
Quay, see? She didn't even pause. All right, a white woman reads me to sleep, and they're just going to have a clip. Oh, my God. That's terrible. I love it. She killing it. And I'm going to support her channel. Let me see. She got over 2,000 views, so somebody listening to it. Because I was butchering these names.
I have to pee. I'm sorry.
I have to go because I have to move. That woman reads me to sleep. All right, clip missing. Insert clip here. Not in. Click here.
Wait, somebody just... It's funny. Language is funny. Somebody said, Angie looks amazing. The baby shower looked top tier. Your real game is very good. Good work by you.
What?
Somebody posted something that you wrote, but they said good work by you. That cracks me up.
What'd I write? Let me see. They posted on Twitter?
No. On Instagram.
Read. All right, I gotta move my car, and it's 11 o'clock. I forgot. Just play myself so often.
Peace to the gods.
All right, love you.
Love you.